If we evolved from monkeys, how are there still monkeys? I'm going to explain it with some high-tech equipment. The answer you hear a lot of people say is, well, we didn't actually evolve from monkeys, us and monkeys just share a common ancestor. And that is true, but I don't think that really gets to the core of the misunderstanding behind that question. We'll take it at face value that we did evolve from monkeys, because really that's not all that far from the truth. What we're going to have to pretend, before we go any further, is that these look like monkeys. Do they actually look like mice or bears? Yes, but this isn't an art channel, so we're pretending they look like monkeys. These monkeys live in a forest. Beside this forest is just flat grassland. Now, the monkeys are very well adapted at living in the forest. They have long tails and they walk around on all fours because, quite frankly, it's good for balance and they don't have any real reason not to. But let's imagine this forest is getting a little crowded. There isn't quite enough food to support all of the monkeys in this forest. So some of the monkeys venture out here. If you like learning about paleontology and evolution, check out my novel, The Heart of Pangaea, and give this channel a like and a subscribe. Now, I really want to stress that this is very much simplified and not at all how actual humans evolved. Of this new generation of monkeys who have started venturing out into the grasslands, one of them has been born with a difference, with a mutation. He stands on his hind legs. Now, this makes him a little bit taller, and therefore a little more likely to see a lion coming, and therefore a little more likely to survive long enough to have babies. His pal here, who still walks on four legs, dead, eaten, gone. So Upright Monkey survives and has a whole bunch of babies who also all walk upright. Further down the line, another generation are born and one of those has a difference. He doesn't have a tail. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose anymore. It's just calorific cost. So they lose it. And that means he needs a little bit less food, a little bit less energy. So he's less likely to starve. He's a little bit more likely to survive, a little bit more likely to breed, a little bit more likely to pass on his genes. So on until these monkeys on the grassland become increasingly more human-like. But not all the monkeys left the forest. These monkeys are still well adapted for their environment. They still live in the trees. They still need tails for balance. They're still better on all fours, so they look pretty much like they did before. They may not be exactly the same. They may have changed over time too, but to the eye, these are still monkeys, and these are now people, and they live at the same time. Now, that is a very, very simplistic and poorly drawn explanation as to why we evolved from monkeys, but there are still monkeys.